Good morning, dear students. Today, I'll continue with the same chapter, which is list manipulation. And in this very chapter, we will discuss it today as the very first, that is accessing list elements, how to access the elements of the list individually, traversing list, comparing list, how the two lists will be compared and what it will return, joining two lists, replicating list slicing and copying list. So we will start with the first topic, which is accessing list elements. As you can see here, as every individual elements of a list are accessed from their index position, which is from 0 to length minus 1 in forward indexing and from minus 1 to minus length in backward indexing. The last video I told you how to create the list, and list elements are stored sequentially. Okay, so each element of the list will have its index number, which starts from 0 from the forward indexing, and from the backward indexing, that is from the right side, the indexing will start with minus 1 to minus length. So single element of a list can have its forward as well as its backward indexing. Okay, it will clear to you. So for example, I have created one list computer parts, which is mouse, keyboard, monitor, headphone, webcam is the list item. And if you it will be represented it in memory, so you have to imagine in that way only, that whenever you will create the list, the item will have its numbers. For example, the mouse will have its index number 0, second element keyboard will have the index number 1, third element monitor will have the index number 2, fourth element keyboard will have the index number 3, and the fifth element webcam will have the index number 4. It will be represented as the forward indexing. Positive numbers will be there in forward indexing from the left side. The same element, mouse, keyboard, monitor, headphone, webcam, will be represented in backward indexing in this way. That means from the last element of the list will have its index minus 1, that is the backward indexing. Second element headphone will have the index number minus 2. Then the third last will have minus 3, fourth last minus 4, and the very last, that is minus 5. So you have to take care of that forward and backward indexing. Forward always represented with minus 1. See here, minus 1 is there, and the last one is minus 5. Minus 5 is what? Minus length. Minus length is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total elements, total item of the list is 5. So the length is 5. That is why in backward indexing, the very first element will have minus length as an index number. So if you will take monitor, which will have the index number in positive or in forward, that is 2, and in backward indexing it is minus 3. So there will be two index number in forward and backward, 2 and minus 3, which represents the third element of the list. Third element in forward will be 2 because it starts from 0, and the third element from the backward will be minus 3. So in this way, every time whenever the list will be created, its index will be like that only. So we will see it through the example. In the above list, from mouse to webcam are 0 to 4, and from webcam to minus 5 will be minus 1 to minus 5. List elements will be accessed. Means if you want to print the headphone, if you want to print or access this keyboard, then you should know their index position or the index number. As list 0 means first element, list 0 means first element, list 4 means fifth element in forward, and list minus 3 or list 2 refer to the same list item. List minus 3 and list 2 means how you will write the index number. This only is the way. You will write first of all the name of the list, and then after under the square bracket the index number. So in this way you can access the elements of the list. Accessing the elements of the list is nothing but the name of the list, under the square bracket its index number. At the same time, the list 1:3, in that way also you can access multiple items at the same time. List 1:3 means it will start accessing the elements from the first position till the second position, because what you will write at the end position, that will be less than -1. So 1:3 means first the index between the item between index 1 to 2, means 1 that is the keyboard and 2 that is the monitor will be accessed. Even if you will write 1 2 3, 3 will not be included, 3 will be excluded. That is why if you will mention it 3, it always represented it 3 minus 1, that is 2, means less than 1. What you will write it here. So 1:3 means 1 to 2. 1:4 means 1 to 4. 1:5 means 1 to 4. In that way, you need to think about how to access the elements of the list. Next term is traversing a list. So traversing means accessing each element of the list. At the same time accessing each element of the list. Since individual elements can be accessed by mentioning the list name as well as under the square bracket the index number. But if in a list there are 100 elements and all the 100 elements you want to access it at one time, so how it will be done? So this can be done by two ways. Either you use the for loop with in operator, that you have already done how to use the for loop with in operator, or you have the second way using the range function with for loop. So the first way we will see for loop with in operator to traverse. There is a list val named as val, and the item 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 are stored. If I'll write for I in val, we have used the in operator with for loop. For I in val means inside the val. Val is what? One list. Then print I output. You will be getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. How it has come? Because the very first value of I would be 10. Why? Because what you have written here, one mistake is there. For I in val, val will be written, V will be written in capital letter, because otherwise what will happen? This val and this val, there will be two different name. And what I am referring it here is the name of the list, and name of the list starts from capital V. So it should be capital V. So you have to modify it over here while writing. I in val, V must be in capital. So val is the name of the list. So all the elements one by one will be accessed using the for loop. This is the purpose of the loop. Looping is what? To repeat the statements. So print I is actually the loop body. So what will be the very first value of I that will be accessed? Second time the second value of I. Third time the third value of I. And the very first value of I will be the first element of the list val. So the first element of the list is 10. So the first time the I value will have 10. Second item of the val is 20. So I will become 20. The third item of val would be 30. So the third value will be 30 of I, and so on till the last element gets accessed. So using for in operator, the list elements will be accessed. So this is the first way to traverse a loop. Second way we will see using range function with for loop. So 10, 20, 30 as it is, but here when you will use the range function, as you know, the range function needs any number, any integer. So first of all we will take the length of this very list, and length means the total number of elements of the list. So total number of elements of the list will be returned by the function len. Whenever you will use the len function, it will return the length of that particular object. So here I have taken the list as val. So length is the name of the variable which will store the total number of item of the val using len. So len will return the length of val, and the length of val is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So length will become 6. Why 6? Because len function used. So what is the purpose of len? To return the total number of item present in a list. Now you have taken the for loop for I in range. This is the syntax to use the range function, and inside this bracket you have specified length. The value of length is 6. So range function receives 2 arguments, at least maximum 3 arguments. Here I have given it only the one value, that is the first argument. So when you will specify only the one value in range function, one number in range function, then by default it will start with 0 till length minus 1. Okay, so if you will write print at index I and index I minus length each val I. What is the meaning of this very statement which comes as a body of for loop? So the very first value of I will have 0. I have already told you range function is given. It start by default with 0 if no start value is provided as an argument, and it will go on till the last stop minus 1 or end minus 1. End value is length. Length is 6. So it will start executing the value of I from 0 till length minus 1, which is 5. So 0 to 5. So at index, the very first time when it will execute, the value of I will be 0. So whatever is given under the double quotes, as it is, it will display the value of I. And index is all also comes whatever is specified, and I minus length means 0 minus length. Length is what? 6. So 0 minus 6 is minus 6, and then is, as it is, it will display, comma, val of I, val of 0. So I am talking about the very first statement which will iterate first time using the for loop. So the first output you will have, as you can see here, at index 0 and index as it is I minus length minus 6 is as it is, and then val of I. Val of I is what? Val of position 0. So val of position 0 is what? 10. So 10 gets displayed. So here we are referring the elements of the list using forward as well as backward index. Means the same item will refer with 2 index, positive as well as negative. So 0 as well as minus 6 will have 10, 1 then minus 5 will represent is 20. Okay, so the very first time, actually this very loop will execute how many times? 0 to 5, that is 6 times. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each sixth time the value of I will be getting updated. Start with 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. At the same time, I minus length will also getting updated, because 0 minus 5, initially 0 minus 6 is minus 6, 0 minus 5 is minus 5, 0 minus 4 is minus 4, and so on. So this statement you have to know how to traverse a list. This you need to memorize it. If initially you have doubt, you have confusion, you are not getting it properly, you need to practice it. So the thing what I have to mention it over here, within double quotes whatever you will mention it, as it is it will display. And if you are taking the variable name here, and that variable name value will be display in the print statement. So this is the output of this very coding. Whatever examples I have shown it over here, please do it yourself in the system. Then only you will understand well about the list. So the next topic is how to compare the list. All the relational operators, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, etc., are termed as relational operator. And all relational operator can be used to compare two lists. If you want to find out that whether the two list is equal to or not, will it greater than in with the first list, will the first list is smaller than the second list, and so on. If you want to compare the list, then we will use the relational operator. So what you need to think, what you need to take care of that it can be used to compare two lists if they are of comparable types. If they are of comparable types, if you will compare one string list with another integer list, then Python flashes an error. If you have two lists which you want to compare it, both the list will have either the string type or float type or integer type. So here I have taken two lists. Both the lists are integer value 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30. Another list L3 I took which have the value integer, but it is the nested one. How you will identify that this one is the nested one? Because the elements itself are a list. 20 and 30 itself is a list. So if you will take out the length of the L3, that is the list, it will have two elements only, 1 and 2. But the length of L1 and L2 is 3, because both the lists will have the 3 item in a list. L1, L2, same type of list, L3 is the nested one. So if I will write L1 equal to L2, print L1 equal to L2, L1 and L2 both at the 0th index of the both list will have the item 10, at the first index 20, and for the second index of both the list is 30. So each element will be compared. First element of the list will be compared with the first element of the another list. Second item will be compared with the second item of the second list. Third item of the first list will be compared with the third item of the second list. If all the elements are equal, then it will return true. L1 and L3. L1 equal to L3 returns false. Why? Because L3 is a nested list and L1 is a simple list. L1 greater than L2 returns false. L1 is smaller than L2. Will the value of L1 is smaller than L2? No, because each element of the first and the second list are equal, so it returns false. More example is there. While comparing two lists, this is very important thing which you have to know. While comparing two lists, it checks element by element comparison. As I told you earlier, if the corresponding lists are equal, it goes on to the next element, corresponding item element of the list are equal. The first list, first item 10, the second list, first item is 10. So corresponding elements are same. So it will go to the next element. Next element's corresponding element is also same. Third element corresponding elements are also same. Okay, so it will go on comparing it and so on until it find the element that differ. Yeah, so very important line this one. Now example, you can see more examples are there. Suppose there are two lists, 1 2 3 4 in the first list, second list 4 5 6. Result is true. Reason 1 less than 4 is true. You can see the corresponding element. The comparison is less than, whether the first list is less than second list. If you will write print 1 2 3 4 less 4 5 6, then it will return true. Why? Because yes, the corresponding element 1 is less than 4. Next element is not going to check it, not going to compare it, because the very first item declares the list is smaller or not. The second example, 1 2 3 4, 1 2, two corresponding elements are same, but as you will compare the third element of the first and the second list, 3 is less than 5. Return true because 3 is less than 5. The same way 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 2, 4 is less than 2, 1 2 3. These three elements are same in both the list, but 4 less than 2 is false. Yes, 4 less than 2, 4 less than 2 is false. So it returns false. 1 2 3 4, 0 1 2 3 4 greater than. 1 is greater than 0. The very first item declares it as true because 1 greater than 0, 1 greater than 0 is true. So this is the way to compare the list. Joining list. The next topic what I will discuss it, list operations. Joining list. Two lists can be joined, add or combined using concatenation operator, and the symbol for concatenation operator is plus. For example, fruits and veg, two lists. Fruits contain all the fruit item, mango, banana, orange. Veg contains two elements as veg, potato, brinjal. I took the another variable which is a very simple variable, FVEG, means fruit as well as veg, and I am joining fruits plus veg. So fruits mango, banana, orange, veg, potato, brinjal. Both the list item will be joined together, combined together. And if you will take the output for this, you will be getting all the two list joined. Mango, banana, orange, potato, brinjal. Example 1 was it. That was based upon the string list. Second example shows the integer list L1 plus L2. Both the list element will be joined together and make you as third list, which is the combination of two list element 168369. And the note is very important here that we can only add list with another list, not with int, float or string type. One list cannot be concatenated with any integer or float or any string value. If you want to join the list, if you want to perform concatenation operator or joining operator, both argument must be list. L1 is a list, L2 is a list. If you will add the list item 168 plus 2, simply if you will write 168 plus 2, it will give you error. You can try it in the system. Second operation of list is repeating or replicating. And the symbol that will be used for replicating is asterisk, which is known as multiply operator. You are using this operator as a multiplication operator, which replicates the list for a specified number of times and creates a new list. when you will specify this very asterisk with the help of any integer and the list, then it will replicate till the specified numbers of time what you are mentioning. For example, potato and brinjal, one list, and what you have written, print veg into 2. Veg is what? The list item. So potato and brinjal are the item, and you are multiplying by 2. So 2 is what? The integer number. So veg list, that is the item potato and brinjal, will be replicated or repeated twice. So that output would be potato brinjal, potato brinjal. You can see the result is this. So in the above example, veg is multiplied by 2, thus printed 2 times. 2 times potato brinjal, potato brinjal. But at the same time, it also returns the list only. So square bracket must be put when you are writing the output of the list. So one thing you have to note it down, that when you will use the replication operator, that is the multiply operator, to repeat or replicating the list, the second argument must be an integer. Okay, the second argument must be an integer. So string, that is the list, and integer. But when you will use the joining operator or the concatenation operator, both argument must be list. But here one argument must be integer. So this you need to take care of that. Next operation is slicing, and it is very important. All the topics important, but maximum questions of the list will be done by the help of this list slicing. Slicing is very important term. Okay, so what does slicing means? First of all, you should know. So slicing is used to retrieve a subset of value. There are the elements of the list, and you want to extract or retrieve some value from the list, not all, because all you can use it with traversing a list one by one, or using the index number single element. But subset of values you want to extract it, then we will be using list slicing, and it can be created through the use of indexes. Obviously, list slicing means every operations of the list will be done by the help of its index number. So the syntax for using the slicing is list start stop step. This is the syntax for the slicing, list slicing, as you had used in range function start stop step. In that way, list slicing start stop step, where step can be skipped or step is optional, but start step you need to specify it. So where start is the starting point, stop is the stopping point which is not included, and step is the step size, also known as stride, and is optional, and its default value is 1. If you have not specified any step value, its default value would be 1. So you can skip this step, and stop value is not included. Whatever you will mention it less than 1, it will be considered. As you can see through the example 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and print val 1:4. 1:4 means starting with the index number 1. So the list element will be going to extract from the index 1 till 4 minus 1, which is 3. So 1 to 3, whatever the values will be there, all the values will be, all the elements of the list val will be extracted. So this is the way to extract or retrieve the subset of the list item. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 are the elements, and each operations will be performed by this, and the output simultaneously is given. -1 colon -4 colon -1 will start extracting the element from the -1th position till -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, -4 is 30. So less than -4 is -3. So it will extract 60, 50, 40 in that way. Next example also shows -1 to -4 and 1. So this will return you as an empty list. Why? You have started with -1 till -4, but the step value you have written it 1. So there is no any such movement is possible. That is why empty list is returned as an result. Second example is the combination of all the list item as float, integer, string, etc. And here the name of the list is list. So I have performed it with -1 to -1, -5 to -1. So -5. Where it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5 is 5.89. It will extract it from 5.89 till -1. -1 means till -2. So -2 is 600. So these all elements 5.89, Radhika, Sharan and 600 gets the result. And the same way 0 to 5 step value 2. Yes, here step value is 2 is there. So it will extract from 0 till 5 minus 1 is what? 4. So 0 to 4 and step value 2. So 0 will return, that is the 100. Then not, 0 means 100, and then after not is second because the step value is 2 is there. So 1 after another. So 100 and then Radhika and then 600. And the limit is given this only till the 4. So the output will be 100 Radhika and 600. You need to practice it to understand this list slicing. And the last topic is copying list. Last topic of this video, not the last topic of that chapter. So list can be copied by simply assigning to another list. One list can be copied. All the elements of the list 1 will be copied with another list by simply assigning it to another. For example, list 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the statement I have written list 2 equal to list 1. It means that the value of list 1, the item of list 1 which is 1, 2, 3, 4 is copied into the second list which is list 2. So if you will take the output for list 1 as well as list 2, you will be getting the same result because the list item is copied into list 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 because list 1 will have 1, 2, 3, 4. So list 2 will also having the same item into the list. Okay. So the statement list 2 equal to list 1, what we have written here, does not create a new list. Okay. So as in the case of the another statements, it creates the new variable or it creates the new object. But in the case of this very statement, list 2 equal to list 1 does not create a new list. Rather, it just makes list 1 and list 2 refer to the same object. List 1 and list 2 both refer to the same object, means both refer to the same location. So list 2 is the alias of list 1. What the element of list 2 will have the element of list 1. What the element of list 1 will have the element of list 2. Therefore, any changes made to either of them will be reflected in another list as shown below. So if you will make changes, if you want to add the element into the list, we will see how to add the element of the list as a built-in function. Append we will be using for that. That will be in the next class topic. So list 1 and list, whatever changes you will apply for any of the list will reflected in the another list 2. As it is given an example, we have created list 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have written list 2 equal to list 1. And afterwards I have specified list 2 dot append 7. Append is the built-in function which will add the element into the list as the last element. So list 2 will have the same element 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in that very list item another item 7 is added. So list 2 will have now the element 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 according to this very statement. So this is not only the changes or in the second list 2, but at the same time list 1 also getting updated or changed. As when you will see the output, when you will take the output, you will see the result as 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, both the list will have the same type, same number of elements, because any changes made to either of them. So I have changed it with the list 2, will reflect it to the another list, that means in list 1. So copying list means first list item will be assigned into the second list using the assignment operator. This is called assignment operator. So this very topic you need to learn, you need to practice it in the system. Theoretically as well as practically is very important for the examination point of view. Thank you so much. You practice it, okay? And we will meet you in the next class. Thank you so much.